Hello, everyone. I'm Kerry George with CIBN TV, and we are talking about weekly networking today. And what is the big deal? Why should we be looking at going out networking weekly to the same place over and over again instead of just sporadically? So, you're going to want to stick with us right away because we're going to tell you how this makes a huge difference in your bottom line and why you want to do it and how you want to do it. And we've got some great opportunities for you to do it as well. So you're going to want to stay tuned. Got a great guest coming up who's going to be talking with me about her experience. You're not going to want to miss a 1 minute. So stay with us. All right, we are thrilled today to be here with Darlene Petrie, who has been part of our weekly networking organization for quite some time now. And we're going to be talking about what is the difference between weekly networking and pop-in networking and big group networking, and what's the difference between women's only networking and doing it once in a while versus regularly. And I thought it would be great to have somebody with me today who has experienced this, firsthand and seen the difference that it has made in her business and in her life. I'd like you to put your hands together for Darlene Petrie is in the house. Woo! All right, Darlene, tell us what's it been like coming out networking over the last couple of years online since the beginning of the pandemic to now. What's it been like?
It's so amazing. I used to just come once in a while to meetings and not every week because I felt kind of insecure. But as I kept coming to meetings, I found that it was actually very refreshing to be able to see familiar faces each time I went to a meeting. And sometimes I'd go to different meetings and I would see people that I knew from the weekly meeting that I did attend when I was at the CIBN networking. And I can't like that. It's made such a big difference for me when I am able to present now. I can present with more confidence, with the ability to say what it is that I'm wanting to say. And I find that too, people don't really hear what you're saying at first because they're so busy worrying about what it is that they're going to be saying. And so when they're coming to to the CIBN meetings, they get to see the same people. And it's not like there's 200 people there where, you don't really get to see who everybody's there. I just find it so amazing. And I really enjoy actually I go twice a week because I find it. I just I need that connection and you do become you become friends and then you become like a family. I just really think.
Absolutely. And something I was just thinking as you were talking, I didn't even put that on my list of things to talk about, but it's important that people know this. When you go to weekly networking, you have an opportunity to do a presentation for your business, and that does not exist in these other kinds of networkings. You don't get a regular time where you get to talk about you. And not only does that bolster your confidence and create, these situations where people can purchase from you, it also sets you up for larger contracts, because I think one of the biggest reasons why people don't get the bigger contracts for their business is because when they do get an opportunity to present that in front of somebody, they suck. Okay, because they haven't had no practice. They haven't had an opportunity to get in front of a focus group, a group of people who could actually give them some feedback. And when you're in weekly networking, that is one of the differentiating factors right there. You now have a practice place and you have people who give you feedback, and it changes your life. It changes the way you present yourself and your business. And guess what? overall revenue is going to go up as a result of this. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the weekly opportunity. We got a weekly opportunity that's going to be coming up here for women in business. We have also for all kinds, anybody in business at CIBN Connect. We have a special thing that's happening now with the When Weekly that's going to be taking place. And that's going to be happening every Tuesday at 3:00 Eastern. And why did we decide to go into weekly networking? Well, we've been doing it for years at CIBN. Okay, we got started in 2011 doing weekly networking, and I had been doing the other kinds prior to that. You know, the kind where you go to a big event once in a while. I've met people who said, "Oh, Kerry, I just want to go to the big event because there's 200 people there at once." And I get lots of business cards collected in these in-person events, or I go online, I get all their contact information. Interesting. How well do you actually get to know those people from that? Darlene, what's been your experience with these great big events? Has that been profitable?
No, it hasn't been profitable, and you don't get to know, like, and trust the people that you are connecting to, even though, and most of the time, even if there are 200 people in the room or 150 or 100, they don't know you. And so they're not going to refer you, because even though there's that many, your your contact may not be in that room, and so I don't want to say wasted the time, but you wasted
Yes, you did. Go
an
ahead.
hour, an hour and a half, or 2 hours, depending on how long it is. So you've just been wasting your time for that whole
You know what?
time.
I've done a lot of networking over the last, more than a decade, about 14 years now of networking and running networking events. And I got to tell you, the best leads came out of those that were weekly. They didn't come out of the big group. And I've often likened these great big events to like a one night stand. You just blow in, you blow up, and you blow out. You're with this group of people, you're trying to make this impression, you got a mitt full of business cards that are live in person in a meeting or online, you got a whole bunch of contact information, but they don't know your name the following morning. You have no relationship. It's like a one night stand. It's like all over. And now you're going to expect this person is going to refer to you? Like you mean nothing to them.
Mm-hmm.
But in that weekly event, they get to know, like, a trust, as you said. And then they become like family. And there's just a huge difference in how you treat family than how you treat a one night stand.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so true.
That's been my experience. Anyway,
And
these are the
sometimes when
people
you
you
go
get
to
married
those,
to, you stay with them, right?
and when you go to those big meetings, and you do set up a meeting online, when it's time to come for that appointment, it's like, who was that person that I'm have an appointment with? So then you have to go do a bunch of research and find out who was that person and what they did. So it
Less
is
research time if you're meeting with them weekly. That's true. And bottom line wise, I think this is important to say. Like, I began to make about $150,000 a year from networking for my other business when I got started with networking. And how did that happen? It was in weekly networking meetings. It wasn't in monthly ones. And I've been a part of monthly groups as well over the years. Some of them had some advantages, but mostly it was around socialization. The advantages was about having a good time. It wasn't about I landed business or made a strong relationship. I went to an event. I like a lot of women's groups run on monthly events. You go to the event, and if it's live and in person, they have pretty table coverings and flowers in the center, and everybody is very nicely dressed, and it's all cool. But do we actually get business from that? My experience has been no. Online, same thing. We've had weekly events. Some are monthly. With a lot of them are women's stuff like this. And is it fun? Yeah. Do you meet new people that are cool? Sure. Do they turn into long-standing business partners? Occasionally. I'm not saying it's never going to happen, but it's not happening as regularly as it does in weekly networking, because you really get to know, like, and trust people. So, and it's so much better than just pop in too, like pop in is just like, you don't have the same, experience. So Darlene, you are part of CIBN Connects networking, and you have been part of the the full membership. You've been part of the mastermind group. You've been part of the Max Plus. And I know that just this year you had some incredible successes due to what you have learned in networking with CIBN, and now with the WEN CIBN link here is going to be awesome for all the women in the WEN group, as well as for, just people around the world, worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us, what has your experience been with that group that you've been participating weekly with on Wednesdays, where you've been really working on your sales pitch and your ability to tell people what you do? So at the beginning of that, we started, I think it was like June or July. How many sales were you making before that?
I wasn't making any sales, and I literally mean zero. I was nothing.
Okay, so
And
I think we got started about, it's probably end of July, beginning of August or something like that. We started this experiment.
Yeah.
And by
And
September.
then I started doing, so I started coming to the meeting and learning about how to create my infomercial, because I always found that each time I was always giving something different, especially if I saw people in a group that I knew. I thought, well, they've heard my spiel, so now I have to change it up. Not recognizing and not realizing that they didn't hear what my spiel was anyway. So I had to repeat it. And this is the great part, is that when you're doing your infomercial, you do need to say the same thing so people really know what it is that you are doing, what your business is, and what type of clients that you're looking for. So that is how I do it now. And I learned how to do it, like how to make it more where people are going to listen, because you ask a question and they're going, oh yeah. And then we learned how to do script writing. And again, it's that, because so many times when I was meeting with people before, I would go to a Zoom meeting with them and we'd be talking about dogs and horses and, you know, and
It's
yeah,
going all over the map.
it is exactly. And I think that was it though, is that I would make my meetings for an hour and not recognizing that, I shouldn't be making sales on the very first call. Like, I should be getting to know the person, because I have to say I've had clients where I wished I could, well, I know I can, where you can fire your clients.
Right.
Because I didn't take that time to really get to know them. And so to spend that first meeting to really get to know. And so when we say know, like, and then trust, and then, do your sales pitch. And
So
it's
I just
not
want to
always
stop you for a second. So you were learning to script all of these pieces, script your infomercial, script your one-on-one, and
Mhm.
script the sales appointment like it's different. And then what did that do for your sales process? Like did sales start happening? What started happening?
So sales did start happening. And then they have, well, at the beginning, they were just kind of streaming, a little bit at a time. And then in December, that's when because
So
I got
December,
it
how many
down.
did you have in your first week of December?
My first week in December, I had 6 sales
Awesome.
in
And
like
were these for
literally
$25 products, or were these for bigger ones?
they were bigger ones. Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to be clear, so that our viewers know that this was not, you weren't selling like plastic spoons or something like this.
No,
These actually
I
have
could probably sell you a plastic spoon now.
now, yeah. So you learned all of that in your weekly networking training with CIBN. That is
Yes.
super cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just want to reinforce here that we've got weekly networking happening at CIBN Connect, all kinds of different meetings, about 500 meetings a year. So lots to choose from. But right now in the Women's Network, the Women's Entrepreneur Network, WEN Network on Facebook, 76,000 ladies in this group. We have joined with Haley Gray, and we are actually starting a women's online weekly networking so that more women can have the experience that Darlene had, woohoo, and actually change their lives, start getting business, and start making real sales that count. Okay? Because if you don't make real sales, you really don't have a business. You have a hobby, and often one that's costing you money and time instead of one that is actually producing something for your family. So this is a huge, huge difference as you start to work with a group like this. So the WEN network, the WEN CIBN mixed network here is going to be awesome. We're going to be there for you every Tuesday, and we can't wait to see you. I put the link in the chat for guest day. And also there is the bit.ly link right on the screen here that will take you right to more information about the WEN network and what we're going to be doing. So we look forward to seeing you there. And this is going to be a life-changing experience. Darlene, would you say that they should come?
Sorry, I didn't hear that part.
Should they come? Should
absolutely, they should come. They need to absolutely be there. It's so important for them to be there. It's
everybody and their dog is coming. Did you see that?
I was just going to say, everybody.
He took Darlene's dog just jumped into the pictures. I'm coming.
How do I get there? Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So we'll see you at the WEN networking meeting. Guest day is coming up here. And actually, we've got a couple of them coming up fast. And you'll see that if you click on the link. But it will typically be ongoing every month. It'll be on the third Tuesday of the month. But right now, we've got a couple extra special dates coming up. So check that link. And, happy capitalism. We're looking forward to seeing you all there. It's going to be fun. Woo!
Thank you.